Let's hit it.
All right.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey
Welcome back.
everyone.
What's going on?
YouTube. Not YouTube. Well, YouTube.
Shit,
Once you see
YouTube.
this, yeah.
Right.
Instagram, Facebook.
Facebook Live. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. We around. Spotify, Anchor. Shout out to everybody. It's your boy D Rich,
And it's your girl, Deanne,
and this is Niggas.
with opinions.
Yeah.
And we have one tonight. So before we get started, D, let me just give out this disclaimer. Tonight's show is going to be a little bit serious. It's a sensitive topic right now that's going on in the United States, and we're just going to touch on it. So tonight we're not judging anyone. So let me just be very clear. This is just the opinion of two individuals. So we're not placing judgment or blame on anybody, but we want to talk about just something that's going on in the country.
Yeah, this is very, it's going to be sensitive to some people out there. And we just want to be, one, as credible as possible with our information and, and just make sure we handle this subject with care because, obviously it's a trying time for many women across our country. So, I mean, if you have any idea of what we're talking about right now, if you've been watching the news or you've been following your timeline at all, I think you got the gist of it. But Deanne, go ahead and give them the title of our show today.
Yeah, so tonight, guys, we're going to talk about the abortion ban.
Yes,
So there's been a lot of public figures, celebrities coming forward with how they feel about this. And this is more than, blaming men and women. This is really about the government telling a woman what she can and cannot do with her body. So I just want to talk about it because, of course, I'm a woman and I have an opinion, and I'm sure you have your own experience with it.
Absolutely.
Your opinion about it.
I have my own, experience, my own opinion on it. Which I'm more than likely going to be leaning a lot, with our women out there. I mean, but there's different sides of the scale, so you
Yes.
can't even really just say that because,
Yeah.
across the country, many people are divided on how they feel towards the subject. So, we're going to get into it. And
Yeah.
so.
So I just want to start off. I'm sure everyone knows, but in case if no one does not know, I just want to give the definition of what an abortion is. So the medical definition is abortion is the ending of a pregnancy by removal or expulsion of an embryo or fetus before it can survive outside the uterus. Now, there's many ways a woman can have an abortion, and I'm not going to go into it because some of it's graphic, but you can look it up online. But we just want to talk about why this ban or this law was passed. So that's what we really want to get into. And it all started with a case called Roe versus Wade. Now, before these states are started, banning this abortion, this all started really in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just give you guys a brief history because I just found this information out. So, Roe versus Wade was a landmark legal case in which the United States Supreme Court ruled that restrictive state regulation of abortion is unconstitutional. The ruling effectively legalized abortions across the United States. In 1969, a young woman named Norma McCovey sought to terminate an unwanted pregnancy. At the time, abortion was legal in Texas, but only for the purpose of saving a woman's life. After trying unsuccessfully to get an abortion, Norma was referred to two Texas attorneys who were interested in challenging anti-abortion laws. She became known as Jane Doe in court documents to hide her identity. The attorneys filed a lawsuit against Henry Wade, which was the district attorney of Dallas County where Norma lived. The case eventually went all the way to the Supreme Court, and then on January 22nd, 1973, the court held that a set of Texas statutes banning abortion violated a woman's right to privacy protected by the 14th Amendment. So that is the case that everyone is talking about. So it was a young woman who actually challenged the laws in Texas and won because the Supreme Court ruled that it was unconstitutional.
Basically saying that, the right to privacy, and she had a privacy over her own body.
Right.
So basically, giving her the choice of what her discretion on whether or not she wanted to continue to carry the baby or not. And up until that time, you know, it was generally you had to have the baby regardless of what went down, whether that been raping, whether that been incest, whether that
Right.
you know, or just you just got pregnant and wasn't ready for it, got pregnant at a young age and it was a mistake.
Correct.
You know, you had to carry that baby to term. That
Yeah.
at 1973 with this landmark case, and I mean, this is one of those like huge ones that everyone pretty much learns. But you know, that right to privacy, that women had the right to choose whether or
Yeah.
not they wanted to carry the baby. So now all the way up in here, it's 2019. You know, we borderline 50 years almost.
Yeah.
You know, since that case. I know it's got a few years off, but
Yeah, I was like,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
What, 4 years? We got 4 years, so it's
Yeah,
yeah.
40. Well, say 40 plus years. Let's say that.
40
'cause
plus
I was
years.
born in '82, so yeah, and I'm 37, so I know it was more than 37 years.
Right. There you go. But you know, it's been almost that time. I mean, 40 plus years, and now we're kind of backtracking
Yes.
a little bit. And you know, a lot of everybody's been talking about it across the country, different podcasts. You know, the Breakfast Club and Charlemagne touched on it. You know, you're hearing obviously every news sources talking about it. NBSC,
Yes.
NBC.
NBC.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really avoid it. It's on
Yeah.
your timeline. If you,
CNN.
even if you're, whether you're against it or for it, it's all over the internet about this, and it's really, it's not every state. From the research I've done, it's really 8 states,
Right.
and I know you had
The states were
some
yeah.
states,
So
yeah.
the states that actually are the ones that pass, and what they're calling it is the heartbeat bill.
yes, the heartbeat bill.
Basically
Uh-huh.
stating that if there's a heartbeat, you know, boom, you can't do it. And what's wild about that is that generally is how you figure out that you are pregnant to begin
Yeah,
with.
a lot of, so what he's saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that these states that pass this law is Georgia,
Mhm.
Kentucky, Missouri, Mississippi, and Ohio. And this heartbeat bill is saying that,
What did you get?
um,
Alabama and Utah?
oh yeah, we're gonna get to those because
Oh,
they
yeah.
have different laws.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Oh yes, they
Oh,
do,
okay.
sir.
Well, shoot, let's
So
clarify.
the heartbeat law is saying that a woman in those states cannot have an abortion past 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
And the crazy thing about this is that is usually when a woman finds out she's pregnant.
Right.
You know, so you have the missed period, you know, so these are
It's 4
early
weeks in
stages,
itself.
right? These are the early stages. Now I guess what they're fighting for in those states is saying that at 6 to 8 weeks, how far is that baby along?
Right.
You know, they're saying if you can detect a heartbeat, they're now saying this baby is human. You know, I did my research at 6 weeks. The baby is small. The embryo is a pea size. You know, so it's
Mhm.
developing. The limbs are not attached. There's a lot of stuff going on. So what they're saying is that at that stage, you can't have an abortion. And again, most abortions that are legal as of right now, because these laws are not going to take effect for another 6 months.
Okay.
Some next year. Okay, so let's be very clear about that. But you know, a regular abortion now, a woman has up to 24 weeks, sometimes 28. Now, at that stage, the fetus has developed.
Right.
You're saying 5 and 6 months. So I understand that, but at 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I mean,
You just found out for real, honestly.
you just found out, and now you can't. And I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but this is what those states are saying. Now, what you were saying about those other states,
Alabama and
yeah,
Utah.
Utah and Arkansas,
Oh,
they voted.
Arkansas too?
Yes.
Oh, goodness
They voted
gracious.
to limit the procedure to the middle of the second trimester. So they allow a woman to go further past the first
Okay.
to the second one. Now, Alabama's law is the one that is the strictest law.
Okay.
And this law is saying it was passed on May the 15th
Mm-hmm.
by a woman. It
Wow.
was 25 men who voted for this bill.
25 to 6 was
25,
the ratio.
yes.
Yep.
And what Alabama is doing is saying, and again, this probably will not go into effect for another 6 months, so about November, that a woman cannot have an abortion at all. The only way she can have an abortion is if it's endangering her life. And if there's a doctor there
Mm-hmm.
in Alabama that performs an illegal abortion, it's a felony, and he could face up to 99 years, which is wild.
Which is wild because that's more than even a rape charge. would
Yeah,
be.
those are rape charges or a murderer, 99 years.
More
But
than
that's how severe that Alabama is taking this stance because they are pro-life, which is fine. I have an issue with telling somebody what to do with their body. That's my issue with this whole thing is the government saying you can't and you cannot do this. You know,
Hmm.
that's why I think morally they have no right to tell a woman that, but Alabama's taking it that far and other states are going to follow suit, and what they're doing is challenging Roe versus Wade. So I'm pretty sure these cases are going to go to the Supreme Court.
Absolutely. Oh,
You know, I'm pretty sure
absolutely.
it's going to be challenged and they're going to probably try to reverse it. But this is what's going on in our country, and in a time where we got so many things going on, this is another issue
Right.
that is going to be sparking change, a change for primarily women and how we control our reproductive system.
And coming up, and this is an election year as well.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like a lot of this. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what exactly is the the strategy, or
Yeah.
and everything. What's the angle that is even happening? Because as you can see, all of these were red states. So pretty
And when
much
you say
like
red states, what do you
red
mean?
states. I mean,
Okay,
as
like
in Republican.
Republican,
So
okay.
Republican
Oh, I
dominated
didn't think
states.
about
But
that.
what's
Okay.
wild about that is actually Donald Trump came out and said that who is a Republican, but came out and said that he's not particularly for the new laws that are passed. So
Oh, he said that?
yeah,
Very shocked. I
right.
thought he would
Wow,
be,
right.
yeah.
No. He's actually is. He feels that it is a little extreme.
Okay.
He wasn't. He was kind of reserved in his comments, but generally that was the gist of what he said. Is that
Okay.
it's pretty extreme on what they're doing. But I'm trying to figure out what's really the angle in doing so, and then there's a whole bunch of different theories coming out about why they may have done that.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that we was touching on, like I said, Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club actually spoke on it, was and we can see it now in many the census is showing this, but the dominating force and the dominating race actually in this country is the Latin community. So as of right now, yeah, they're
Okay.
actually the fastest growing community in the nation currently.
Wow.
So they say as of 2045, if everything continues the way it does, that most of the country is going to be brown. So I mean that's with the
So what are the numbers with? I know you did research on what is
we went. I wasn't even going to touch on
Okay.
that just yet. But I mean,
Okay.
as far as what you're asking,
Yeah.
as far as the amount that I guess the Caucasian community
Yeah.
makes up for the abortions
Yeah.
is about 37%. So they make up 37%
Okay.
of the abortions that are taking place. So which generally makes sense because they are the highest population in this
Yeah.
country currently. So that would make sense. That reflects the time. What is a little inconsistent, and and that's what I did my research on, was that abortions among the African American community is actually 37% as well,
Wow. So white women and black women are at the same rate.
which is wild
Wow. I
because
can't believe that.
we only
I
make
can't believe that.
we only make up 13% of the country.
That's crazy, D.
So we make
Damn.
up 36 to 37% of the abortions, and
Wow.
then but we only make up 13% of the country.
Wow. That's wow.
So
Okay.
they're actually
Yeah.
what's wild about that is and I've actually watched certain videos on
Yeah.
this. You can actually go ahead and look up this if you guys have the opportunity. Go ahead and YouTube abortions in the black community, or abortions and black as far as advertisement, and just put those keywords together and you can find videos that actually shows different billboards that say having an abortion is self-care, and it's got the smiling black woman.
Yeah. I seen that.
So,
He
yeah.
did send me a video, and it's kind of like the way I'm looking at it. It's
Mhm.
like in communities of ours where it's poor and
Right.
impoverished.
Right.
They have liquor stores.
Yeah.
They have things for us to
To destroy ourselves.
destroy ourselves. So when
Mhm.
I'm seeing these billboards advertising and having a black woman and
Mhm.
like making it fun, like, oh, let's go have an abortion.
Right,
You know,
right. Like it's a
yeah.
happy
That's
period, like it's a
crazy.
happy
That's
time,
crazy,
like,
man.
and we're doing it at a rate, like I said, it's 37%.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Whereas we're making up 13%. So I actually had a whole argument that about that chat that we was discussing last week. That, you know what I'm saying?
Venus Clapback.
Yeah, Venus
Shout out
Clap.
to you.
Shout out to Venus
If you're
Clapback.
watching this,
You know what I'm
thank you
saying?
for
For being on the show
Yes.
last week. We appreciate that. And then, but according to the CDC,
Yeah.
what's believed to be the #1 killer of the African American community is heart disease. So, you
Yeah.
know, high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Basically, y'all eating that swine. Y'all need to leave that alone, real rap. But what's the name? But basically, I hear you. I understand. It tastes good. I know.
It's more than just swine,
Neck,
baby.
neck bones is something different, baby.
Yeah.
I get it. But what's the name? But you know, but heart disease was known to be, you know, our number one killer. Now, according to the CDC, in 2015, there was 630,000, about roughly 630,000 deaths by, and that's total by any race, um, within the, you know, in the country
Yeah.
due to heart disease. And black, the African American community made up 24% of that. That equated out to 151,200 heart deaths.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, as far as us making up 36% of the abortions in America, in 2015, there was 638,169 abortions, according to the CDC in 2015.
That's a lot.
We made up 36% of that.
Wow.
That came out to 229,740 aborted babies.
Wow.
So, I mean, to me,
Thanks. That's a lot.
so to be honest with you,
Yeah.
the number one killer of the African American community
You
right
mean
now
abortions?
is our abortions.
Wow.
So,
I mean, those numbers are staggering. I honestly, I'm shocked. I didn't know that. And let me just point out what Alabama, I forgot to touch on this, is that even Alabama is saying that if a woman is raped or incest, she still cannot have an abortion. And I mean, that right there is touchy, because the way I look at it is, if my body is violated at any age, it can be an 8-year-old, 9-year-old. You know.
well, I mean, the
'cause,
biggest one case right now, the biggest landmark case about, you know, what's going on. I mean, as all of this triggered and all of these laws started to come to pass, was the one in Ohio, the baby.
Oh yeah, the 11-year-old that got pregnant.
Yep, they
Yeah,
got pregnant. She was raped.
But good thing, I think she's able to have an abortion, because
Really?
those laws have not taken
Because they haven't
effect
taken
yet.
effect yet.
But yeah, under
Thank-
that new law, if it does pass, and see, that's
thank
the
Most High
point.
for that, man.
How do you tell a woman, I understand you were raped,
That could be backwards,
incest,
too, but-
you have to carry that baby full term, and I've been hearing arguments about this. Oh, just, you know, there was a caller that came on the Breakfast Club, and they had a, you know, I listened to the Breakfast Club, but one thing this caller said, she is pro-life. And she
Oh
was,
yeah, she was basically
she was
saying like,
basically
hey, you can
saying,
take
like,
it all
yeah,
away. Yep.
like, hey, have the baby, you know, give the baby away. Like, that's the whole point. Like, that's trauma in itself, and now to get pregnant by a family member, or to be raped, and you are forced. And I'm not saying abortion is the solution. Let me just be very clear about that. But what I'm saying is, I don't understand how a man, or men in general, can tell a woman what to do with her body. That's the point, I think, where I'm torn at. Like, for someone to tell me, you can't do that, you can't do this, you know, like, that kind of makes me upset, because you have no right to tell me what I can do with my body.
Now, a big, you know, discrepancy I actually have with that, and you know, that many men actually have with that, is where's the father's choice in this? Because not even just in this situation to where it's incest, not where it's rape, but in a situation where possibly, you know, it was two consensual adults. We probably dating. You know what I'm saying?
Are we dating? Because
hypothetically,
hypothetically, okay.
we dating. What's the name? I get you pregnant. What's the name? You tell me about it, and then after that, you tell me that, you know, you're having an abortion. Now I'm sitting here. I'm like, whoa. What if I wanted to keep the baby? You know what I'm saying? It's my seed.
Okay.
It's my child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then now you say, well, what the hell with you? What you think? You know, it's my body. I do what I want. You know what I'm saying? But is there any type of protection? There's currently no protection right now for a man that possibly wants to have the child.
That's very good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
in that case, that's wrong. I mean, yeah, I have heard of cases like that, like most people.
but you're sticking on your side. You're saying you're pro-life. That's your
no,
body.
I mean,
so what you think?
I'm just, for me, I'm pro-choice.
Pro-choice.
I'm pro-choice,
Right.
and you're right. But I don't think. Okay, so let me just say this from experience, because I don't have any kids, but I can tell you guys my experience with this. When I was 20 years old, I was dating a guy who had 3 kids. All right. I got pregnant. Now we used condoms, but I remember when I conceived, you know, one day he was a Rough Rider, and he wanted, you know, to go extra hard, and the condom busted, and I remember that. Now he was like, oh, don't worry, you know, I drink, I smoke weed, you can't get pregnant. I'm like, okay, you know, because I know that to get pregnant, ovulating, like, everything has to be right. Well, I didn't even know I was pregnant, y'all. I went to my gynecologist, just to get checked up for STDs, pap smear. That's one thing they do is they have us, one, tell us, when's the last time you had your period? Pee in this cup and I see if you're pregnant. Oh, I'm not pregnant. I was pregnant. Had no idea I was pregnant. So I went home and told him, like, yo, I'm pregnant. Well, how far along are you? I said, I don't know. They took my blood.
Mm-hmm.
She called me and you're like, you're 8 weeks pregnant. And I had no idea. Do you know the first thing he told me to do?
Let's go get an abortion.
Get an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm with you because you got 3 kids. He wasn't working. I was going to GCC. I was taking care of us.
Right.
Yeah. So I agree with him. So with abortion, the earlier you have the abortion, the cheaper it is. The further along you get, it's more expensive.
It's more expensive.
Where it got to the point, because I'm thinking, hey, I'm still pregnant. It got to the point, well, okay, I'm at 20 weeks. Like, what's up? You ain't give me no money. He had no money. I had my half because we agreed to go half.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't afford it. So my homegirl at the time that I was going to GCC with, she let me borrow the money and she took me up there. He wouldn't even come with me to get the abortion. But, I went up there and the whole ordeal, how they treat you. Like, one, I was scared because I've never went through this before. But when she scanned my stomach to see if I even had a baby, y'all, I didn't have a baby. So I miscarried, or the baby never, the embryo never, I guess, stayed in my uterus. I don't know. That was the best news ever. I'm not trying to be mean, but I was not ready.
You just wasn't ready to have a child at that point in time.
I was not ready, but that was the first thing he told me. As a matter of fact, movie reference. What happened in the beginning of Baby Boy?
The opening scene.
The opening scene. Where was Yvette at?
At the abortion clinic.
At the abortion clinic. Now, they already had one son.
Mm-hmm.
She got pregnant again. And even Jodie's mom said, I can't keep giving you money every time these girls get pregnant. Now, Jodie had 2 baby mothers.
Yep.
So that's why I'm saying, like, this is something guys tell women to do. Well, I ain't ready for no child. It's never a good time.
Well, I mean, at that point, it was based on, I think, mainly, their readiness as a couple. To be able to afford that. And that's another thing that, although these numbers are staggering in the Black community, I mean, many times, these children is getting, like, these babies having babies. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so, I mean,
true.
like, a lot of times folks is getting pregnant and then not able to support that child.
Yeah.
So, I mean, another thing, as far as this pro-life that's in these red states, a lot of times these folks are the same ones that's complaining about welfare. So, I mean, my whole thing is now, boom, now you guys saying no abortions.
Right.
So, like, are we cool with somebody who's not going to be able to afford? So they're going to go directly on the welfare program and spend up all these tax dollars. Are y'all not? Is that now no longer an issue?
Yeah, that's a hard argument, and I always wonder that, like, for some women, because I know why I was going to do it, and I have friends who have had abortions.
Right.
Some women, and I say some very loosely, they use abortions as a form of birth control.
Yeah.
So now, but then, back when I was going to high school, we didn't have Plan B.
Right.
A lot of these things that we have now in 2019, we did not have it in the early 2000s. So I understand that. That's the first thing that we were told.
Wait, pause. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just say you didn't have no Plan B in high school?
There was the Plan B pill, wasn't it? It didn't come out in 2000.
For real?
No.
Lord.
I don't think it did. And no, when I graduated, there was no Plan B. There was probably something different. I don't know.
Shout out to Plan B.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think that pill came out then. But I graduated in 2001. Damn, 2001. 18 years ago. Yeah, I don't think they had that.
Shout out to 2011, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the plan, was to get an abortion, and women did it. Like, it was to the point like it was like, come, like, oh yeah, girl, what you do last weekend? Girl had an abortion. Oh, okay, really? Are you feeling good? Like,
y'all was really like that?
Yeah, like it was just normal.
A natural thing?
Right, it was a natural thing.
That
was a woman's birth control, was to have an abortion.
That's
and then even girls would go with each other. Like, girl, I would go with you, because sometimes the guy would,
of course.
You know what I mean?
And that's generally, yeah.
Right. But you make a very good argument. In that situation, if you get a girl pregnant and she takes away, especially if it's like a son,
right?
I think that's wrong.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you don't know whether it's a boy or a girl that early in the game anyway. But boom, like, you just found out you're pregnant. We see a heartbeat. I'm excited.
Right.
What's the name? Like, there's some men that they want to be. I mean, a lot of times the stereotype fits men. They, hey, go ahead and get rid of that. I don't want it. Blah blah blah. There's some brothers out there that want to have a child. You know what I'm saying? Like, they exist. You know what I'm saying? So. I mean, if they want to have that, I mean, the man's right is completely dismissed.
Yeah.
By giving that, it's my body, I can do what I want, I can
Right.
carry it, and we get it, and like the famous Tupac line, a man can't make one, so he has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. Now, like Charlemagne said, like he
Yes.
said on Breakfast Club, a man can make one
Yeah.
because in order for you to have that baby,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, that seed of life, you took the seed, you the egg,
Yeah.
I delivered the seed, you know what I'm saying? Like, boom, we planted in the ground now there's a baby. So I helped create that, John. I just can't carry it. You know what I'm saying? So, but
Mm.
at the end of the day, now my right is taken as a potential parent because, like you said, because you don't want to carry it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, granted, there's different sides that you could really look at this as far as, there, because currently in today's state, I guess this
Yeah.
really doesn't give neither one of us a choice. So even if I didn't want it now, we gotta have it, have a
Yeah.
baby. You know what I'm
Because I
saying?
mean, yeah. But let me ask you: have you ever had a personal experience with abortion, or know girls who have gotten abortions?
Well, I actually have a personal experience with an abortion. It was
Oh.
actually
Okay.
when I was 16, I was
Okay.
in high school. I very poor sex education.
Okay.
We hadn't had sex, and then I actually I guess ejaculated.
Oh, baby, I
From
like you
you know what I'm
raw.
saying, from masturbation first, and then
Oh.
left. Yeah. See,
Wait, wait, for masturbating?
it was. I'm not gonna get dirty in details and everything, but I did that first
Okay.
with her. We was doing it
Okay.
together, and then
I'm trying to produce. Okay, go
and now
ahead,
I'm
brother.
still up. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. 16.
I
Okay.
was like,
Bam.
well, let's we
Bam.
might as well let's go get it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Without clearing the urethra and
Oh, I
everything,
see what you're
brothers, make sure
saying.
you pee. After that, yes, that's how you
Well, I
clear.
don't know.
That's how you
Yeah.
clear your
Okay.
urethra. But
I don't
anyway,
know.
use condoms. That's really what it
Yeah.
is. You mean wrap it up. No swim gear. No swimming. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need. But but yeah. So went ahead, went on in there, and then a couple months later, we worried and whatnot. She was like, yeah, she's getting close to her period, and it wasn't coming. And so I bought a pregnancy test. We skipped, walked out of class in high school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Met at the bathroom on some high school stuff. Went in there, used it. It was only 2 weeks later,
Okay.
and again, poor sex education. Not
Yeah.
realizing it takes a whole month. But she passed it. I did a dance, clicked my heels.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? Went off to class with good money.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks later, finding out she was like, yeah, I haven't had my period yet, and my stomach is getting hard. I was like, yo, fuck out of here. That wasn't me. It was like, you already passed my test, baby.
You sound like Kane. It ain't
It
mine.
wasn't mine.
I
I had the Jimmy on extra tight, but that's, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
no, but yeah, so, again, poor sex education. She went
Okay.
with her aunt, went to the doctor, and sure enough, she was pregnant. So now
At
I'm
16.
16 and 15 years old. Yes, ma'am. So like I'm scrambling, trying to find some money to put together. Yeah, I ain't
So you
working at this
guys
time.
agree that abortion.
Yeah,
Because you weren't-
granted,
Okay.
I'm looking at it like I'm a baby.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We
Wow,
babies.
16.
Babies having babies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in no way, shape, or form ready to
Yeah.
be no father. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, I'm barely there now, if at all. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh my gosh.
I ain't getting rid of now. I wouldn't do it nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It
You
is what
sound
it is
barely
on
there
men.
now.
But
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I definitely wasn't ready at that time.
Yeah.
So, but she ended up, her aunt ended up taking her, and got that done. But yeah, it's just wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really could have had a father. They'd be 11 now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So did you ever talk to her? Because I think it's easy for a man to say, well, yo, go get an abortion.
Right.
Okay. But I think it has some type of effect on a woman. I don't, like I said, I never had one. I was going to get one, but I had no baby. But talking to women who has had abortions, multiple abortions too. One, I'm surprised that some of the people who I know who have had several was able to have a baby because
yeah,
it damages the woman's
that's
body.
what I was just about to say.
You know what
I
I
feel
mean?
like
So
the
I'm
uterus be all out of whack. You know what I'm
So I'm
saying?
very shocked by that. But then just to the after effect of what you
The
did,
mental aspect.
yeah, the mental aspect, and then I guess this is my what I be thinking is after going through something like that, depending on how far along you are,
Mhm.
because when you guys know when you go get an abortion, they will let you see the baby. They'll tell you the sex of the baby.
Mhm.
You're gonna feel the baby kicking, like just right
Well, I
there,
mean,
letting that sit in.
but at that point, you know, how you far along at this point? What you've been waiting on?
I mean, it really. I mean, I think it's like I said. My situation was money. I think, you know, not people who get pregnant don't probably have the same, you know, advantages that most people have. You know, some people you get pregnant, boom, we'll take care of it. You know, we'll wait for you to get further along, whatever, to get the abortion.
Mhm.
But if you have a mate, he has no money or she doesn't have any money, and you
Right.
gotta scramble that
And y'all
money
gotta
together,
scramble
and
that money, and it may take some
time is
time.
just ticking. Time is ticking.
But I think honestly that's the point of it, and I think there's some states that were already that you know you couldn't have it in, you know, unless you got to this trimester
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then blah
they
blah
did.
blah. But
Yeah,
they, you know,
yeah,
they were pretty much making you have to go and look at that, you know, that heart flicker on the screen,
right.
and making you have to find out whether or not you know the sex of the baby, and now
Yeah, you
you're
know
now
what? You
you're
brought a good
growing
point.
you're growing an attachment to the child, and it's kind of like trying to guilt trip you
Yeah.
into, you know, keeping the child. And I mean, and granted, I mean, I'm not sure if that's technically a bad thing. You know, they call babies a blessing. You know, so technically, you know, you're supposed to be, if we, you know, believe in, you know, the Most High and His plan, you know, technically they were supposed to be there. So,
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. That's what I'm saying is, you know, that's a very
I get you, I
yeah.
get you, because
I
at the
mean,
same time,
yeah,
you know, like I
that's
said,
kind of
I
yeah.
had one
To
myself,
be
so
for a woman to be raped and for someone to say,
yeah,
well, that was that's God's plan.
yeah, that's something different.
Some people don't look at it like that.
Right.
But what he was saying is that with these abortion laws, certain states, like I'm not gonna read all of them. I'll just read Arkansas. Okay. So there's only one abortion provider currently in Arkansas. So the state law bans abortion after 20 weeks. This is as of now until these new laws, you know, take into effect. Um, Exceptions can be made in cases of medical emergency, rape, or incest.
Mm-hmm.
So some of these states, minus Alabama, if a woman is raped or incest, she is able to have an abortion, but it has to be within that time frame of 20 weeks. Well, in this case, for Arkansas. Abortions performed on the basis of sex selection is illegal, meaning that, oh, I'm having a girl, I want a boy. Let's kill the baby and try, you know, like that.
Which state is this?
Arkansas.
That's Arkansas.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not, you can't do it. Well, how can you say that that's the reason why if they
well,
say
yeah,
it
that's
out
what they're
loud?
saying,
In the,
right?
in the, you know
yeah,
what
that's
I'm
what
saying?
they're saying. Sex
Okay.
basis is illegal. Arkansas patients must complete counseling and then wait for 48 hours before the procedure can take place, meaning 2 appointments are required. So a lot of states have certain laws about that. And then also with Arkansas, you have to, it's mandatory for a woman to do an ultrasound.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to make sure
that you see
the child, and that this is exactly what you want to do. Of course, if you are a minor, you got to have parental consent. They have to come with you.
Right.
So a lot of these states have different laws. Counseling, because again, when a woman goes through something like this, it really changes how she feels about life.
I got a question. Is that the Planned Parenthood, you know,
no, this is just
format,
the laws.
or?
No, this is just the laws in Arkansas about the guidelines for a woman to have an abortion. Think of this like if you were, well, I'm not trying to apply this, but there's steps a woman must take before she can have an abortion. They want to make sure that your mind, you know, that's where you do the counseling and, you know, the ultrasound to see, are you sure you want to get this done?
Right.
Because it's permanent.
Right.
And, you know, and like I'm saying, this is real. Like, this is really going on. And I guess
how do you feel about making women have to go through that process? Should it be as simple as, hey, I want to go ahead and get an abortion. All right, well, come on in the room. I'll take you next.
I mean, yeah, I mean.
You think it should be that simple?
I mean, as far as being as simple, like, oh, I'm about to go to Walmart, like, just, okay,
just
like,
say,
just
yeah, we're here now.
No, I mean,
I got you next.
I think someone, because that decision, you know, like I said, guys, I'm not judging anyone because I was going to get an abortion, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is that I am pro-choice.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is what God gives us free will.
And just to be clear on that, pro-choice of the woman, correct?
Pro-choice of,
yes, for the woman.
Or basically anyone.
Because you're saying you're saying that the brother ain't got no choice in this.
No, I'm saying pro-choice for anybody. Like, I mean, well, guys can't get an abortion, but I mean, let's think about this. Okay, so let me So let's just flip this because I want people to understand where I'm coming from when I'm saying pro-choice here. Now, there's a guy. His name is Jay Williams. Jay Williams was on a show called Ayala Fix My Life. Do you know how many kids? Number one, Jay, he is the father of 34 children. He's a black man. 34 children by 17 women.
Oh, that was
now,
a goal.
what if the government
that was a goal
made a law that men with children like that many children and not married by the same woman? What if the government said right now it's mandatory for a man to go get a vasectomy?
That's hard to say because one, I wouldn't right now. To be keeping it stack with you, like borderline, my man really kind of need to do that. Especially because I'm sure he ain't no billionaire.
And right, and if you guys saw
if you're not
that
able to
show,
provide for him,
that's exactly. He was on child support. He couldn't provide. So
if he was on child support,
yes. 17
what
women.
y'all taking $5 a piece?
17 women, 34 children. So doing the math, he had about what 2 kids per woman. So what I'm saying is that he was over here having these kids, and yet he did not stop. His sperm is still going. But see, what I have an effect with this law is that it takes 2 to make a baby, and yet a woman like me as a woman, there's so much demand for me to control my reproductive system. What do y'all have as men? Like y'all don't have birth control for men. I think aren't they developing one?
Yeah, they're developing a birth control pill, but I absolutely will not be taking that. I advise brothers not to take that. Because I don't want to. It's too much medicine and all of that nonsense. You know what I mean?
Do you know what a woman goes through?
Yeah, I'm hip. I'm hip.
You know what I'm saying? I'm hip. Let's talk about the birth control for men and women. So what is what is your method? Like what methods you think they have for men to control?
Are you asking what my method is?
Well, I know what your method is. Wait, hold on.
Let's chill out.
Wait, hold on.
Swimwear.
What I'm saying is, okay, besides abstinence, besides man or woman not having sex, if you compare the options for women and men, there's a huge range in between. I did my research for men, what they have for birth control. Condoms, spermicide, which is you put outside of the condom, pull-out method. And then the worst case scenario, surgical vasectomy.
The vasectomy. Yep.
Women, Plan B. Of course, condoms. We got shots.
Yep.
We got creams.
Yep.
We got pills.
You got a cream?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, sometimes they have like kind of like spermicide, but for women, just like a different alternative.
You got me. That sounds messy.
Hey, they got sponges. They got implants.
I know about the sponges.
There's a lot of things for a woman.
The sponges, the implant, the IUD. What's the name? The little thing in the arm.
Yes.
What's the name?
There's a lot for a woman, and then there's hormones being injected to our body. And again, from personal experience, a lot of women take birth control. Like I was taking birth control because I have really bad cramps. Even to this day at 37, I be feeling like I'm having labor pains, and I've never had a kid. But birth control regulates a woman's cycle. Well, when I took birth control in high school, what it did to my body, all these hormones being pumped into my body. I had a face full of acne, and it got worse. I gained weight. I was spotting for 6 months. Like my period was on and off, and I wasn't even having sex. It was supposed to regulate my cycle. I didn't like how it did me, how I felt. I felt like that was just too much, so I got off the birth control. But now they got birth control where a woman can even say, you know what, IUD. I don't want to be pregnant for 5 years. You put that thing in you, and it releases. But there's side effects to that, right? There's side effects to that with all this birth control. But it seemed like for women, it's so much more than men. But yet, women cannot get pregnant without sperm. Point blank, period.
That's facts.
So when you have guys like Jay Williams who got 34 kids, what if the government said, or like China, 2 kid minimum? Like, brother, you got 34, expeditiously go get a vasectomy.
Well, it's hard to say because I just, again, I don't like the government regulating over anyone's body in general. So, I guess you can say that I'm pro-choice. Although I do believe in the Bible, and granted, just while I'm touching there, there's not too many. I actually was trying to find and excuse me, Salaki, if I didn't find the correct one or if I didn't find enough. But one that I actually did
Okay.
find that kind of is in the same realm of abortion is Deuteronomy 12:31, which states, "You must not worship the Lord your God in their way, because in worshiping their gods, they do all kinds of despicable things the Lord hates. They even burn their sons and daughters in the fire and sacrifices to their gods." So some people actually see it as, a sacrifice, possibly, just from
Having an abortion.
having an abortion. I mean, granted, we may not see that. We may just see it as clearing, yeah, but it can be, seen that way.
Hmm.
If we're gonna look at it in the biblical stance. But at the end of the day, I don't like the fact that the government is regulating over a person's body. But I understand that situation, to where this brother out here making 34 babies,
30. So
17 baby mamas.
can't. I mean.
And can you and if unless you a billionaire, unless you Bill Gates out here, where you can everybody's going to make it through college as well. You know what I'm saying? I just don't feel like that's something. But it's hard to call it, because I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's a dual-edged sword. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
boom, it's now we're giving them control. Well, all right, well,
Yeah.
go ahead. It's like you're backing us in the corner. Well, come on in, let us have control over your body. You know what I'm saying? But that's what's going on for women right now. So I can understand how this is definitely an ugly situation. And
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that guy has a lot of kids,
Right.
and Ayala asked him, "Is he going to have any more?" And he says, "I don't know,
Yeah,
brother.
that's-
You got 34
that's
kids.
wild.
Your
You
sperm,
don't
listen, they
even know
need
all
to
their
snip.
kids. You don't even
They
know all
need
their
to
names,
cut
for
it
real.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
really." And he can't even support it. So what I'm saying is that if the government told men you have excessive amount of children, you need to go get cut. That's mandatory, or you can go to prison, because what you're doing is now us taxpayers.
Mhm.
If he can't afford these children, he is behind in child support, right?
Yep.
So what happens? That woman or those women,
Mhm.
they have to go on government assistance. Now,
Well,
who pays for that?
They're gonna go
Who
on that
pays for
regardless.
that?
We are.
We do.
We do.
So when I'm looking at abortion, like I said, and I wrote, and I kind of like did some facts, because I want to just say this, because I asked myself, why would a woman get an abortion? Some people would say as birth control, but I have a few reasons that I found out. All right, 1, victim of rape. 2, fetal health problems. And I think this is big too. Like, if you knew.
And as of right now, you're actually going in order of least likely to.
Oh no,
most
no, I'm just
likely?
no.
It look like that's what you was
No,
doing.
I'm just reading. No, I'm just giving out reasons.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
I see
at the
that.
percentages.
Right. No, I'm not
just-
looking at that, because this is not 100. I'm just giving some reasons why.
Okay. Okay.
So, with the fetal health problems, is if I've heard of this, if you knew a child that you were carrying was gonna, have autism,
Mhm.
Down syndrome,
Mhm.
or come out with one eye, or some people like, what?
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because now, we're so advanced where they have 3D ultrasounds, or
Yeah. They
you
can see it all
they can
now.
see it all. But if a doctor told you, your baby's gonna come out with one limb, some people would terminate that pregnancy because they don't want it. Because a special needs child,
That's
it's
difficult.
it's difficult, right?
I even, as I matured in life, and you just understand that, I do eventually want children one day. And
Yeah.
as far as man, boy or girl, it really don't matter, honestly. I just want healthy.
Right.
God bless all
But
of
if
those
you
parents out
knew-
there with that's dealing with a special
Oh yeah,
needs child.
it's a lot of work, but
God bless y'all.
that's the reason why a woman would have an abortion. Another reason, physical health problems. And again, with physical health problems, because they tell women before we get pregnant, if we're at a certain weight, they would encourage us to lose weight, to be healthy, gestational diabetes. There's a lot of things with health problems that would make a woman terminate a pregnancy, would interfere with education or career, and I've heard of that before.
I think that's low-key kind of selfish, but
Yeah, but I have heard of that. Not mature enough to raise a child, which was in your
that's
situation.
babies
Making
having
babies. Don't want to be a single mother.
That's
Point blank, period.
I mean,
right, you know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, I can, that goes back to our conversations
Yeah.
that we done had over the past couple of weeks,
Yeah.
as far as, two-parent homes, and
Yeah.
it's pivotal. I mean, like, honestly, it really boils down back to that, that throwing that cat around, throwing the meat around,
Yeah.
slinging pain everywhere.
Is
You know
there,
what I'm
like I
saying?
said, responsibly? I don't know how you can have sex responsibly besides use condoms or whatever.
Right.
Done having children. That was another reason. And then can't afford a baby. That was another reason. Not ready for a child, which was my reason. I was not ready. Okay. And then 6% is other. So these are just some reasons why some women have an abortion. And like I said, the way I look at it is this: if I was pregnant and I can barely take care of myself, I had no resources of a family or support, or the man was not in my life, I'm already a debt to society because I'm depending on, the government. Now I'm bringing a child into this world and the cycle continues. So some women would say, you know what, I'm not ready, but it costs money. Let me get money to end this pregnancy because going long term, 18 plus years, it's going to be a debt to society.
They said each on average in America, when it's probably more these days, but I heard this stat maybe back in high school, so we gonna say like 09.
Okay.
That a child is cost on average 250,000 over their life between their birth and 18. But honestly, I think those numbers are skyrocketing. Cause shoot, you probably a couple 10,000 in debt as soon as before you leave the hospital.
Right.
So I mean, like, you know what I'm saying, like you already in. And it's expensive to have a child. So
it is, and especially in 2019.
Right. The cost of living is going up. But now, so now we're discussing all of this. Being a debt on society.
Yeah.
That's really is what was getting me. As far as finding that angle between all of these red states is supposed to be pro-life, which is kind of BS to begin with because pro-life. I mean, y'all, we killing brothers every day. What didn't you just say? Didn't we just read right before we went live? There was a sister that got shot, hands up, she was pregnant.
There was a black woman who got shot and killed by the police, and she yelled out, "I'm pregnant." Right
before they pulled the trigger.
So what D is saying is, this is my issue. So some of the reasons I hear why these people who are pro-life, and I understand that. I'm not trying to make you guys pick a side, because I don't have a side. I'm pro-choice as far as you can do what you want to do, because again, God gives us free will. We have the right now to serve God or the devil.
Facts.
So that's why I'm saying, so if God gives us freedom of choice, who are you to take my choice away from me?
Right.
But what I have an issue with are these conservatives.
Right.
Conservators is this: you are against abortion, but you're for the death penalty.
Right.
So if you're for life, to put, someone does a crime, put them in jail for the rest of their life, but you are quick to kill someone. In these states, death penalty is still there. Now, I don't know if they're doing the election chair.
Are they all legal? They're legal in all of these? Yes. I know Alabama definitely on there.
Yes.
But
death penalty in those states. They support the death penalty. And here's another thing. You're against abortion, you're pro-life, but you support the NRA. Now, there's been a lot of shootings with children at schools, mass shootings going to Vegas, Orlando. You have all these shootings with guns. There's no stopping the laws from that, but you want to stop an abortion. Right. You're pro-life or against abortions, but the Black Lives Matter movement, you see innocent people, and we just said one. All these videos of young black people getting shot and killed for what?
For no reason.
So where's the outcry with that? You want to ban abortions, but what about these serious issues? Like
I said, the whole thing is hypocritical, to be honest with you. I mean,
it is.
Even like I said, even the fact that they want to be stop the abortions, and even if their whole goal is to stop the browning of the United States, because eventually that means you're going to lose political power, because all that means is the political power is going to be with the people.
Yeah.
And if the people was brown, then hey, the representation of that is going to reflect such.
Right.
But the whole contrary to popular belief, the actually vast majority of of welfare users is actually Caucasian, which makes sense. They make up, absolutely.
Wow.
But
by
far.
They advertise it us.
Oh yeah, you would think it would be, but
no,
absolutely not. No, there was a lot of folks that was kind of upset when they found out, that Medicaid was about to go away. It was Obamacare, we get rid of that though.
Right.
But no. That's your medical pimp. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, like I said, these same people are a lot of times, they can't afford it. There's folks out there, and no diss to them at all. You know what I'm saying? If they may be in the same type of situations,
right?
But they may not be able to afford them,
right?
And now, they're forced to make sure you watch that too. Make sure that doesn't go off before.
Yeah, it probably is. It's 10%. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But no,
before because they're about to be a debt on society. So kind of make a decision whether or not you're going to be are you going to support welfare now? You know what I'm saying?
And,
Like,
and,
is it
and
okay?
there's an argument with that. They're trying, so
Mhm.
now they're trying to get people off of welfare, even here in Arizona. Like I don't know,
I don't understand.
and I don't know. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm not saying this right, but there's a certain period you can get on welfare, then you have to redo it again. I don't know if it's 6 months,
That
but they're
makes
trying
well.
to get people. Well,
The laws.
under
I
the
mean,
Trump
shoot.
administration,
Yeah,
let
you
me
got
just
to you
say
got to
that
prove it.
Trump is not playing. He's really trying to get rid of a lot of government assistance. I know Planned Parenthood had an issue with government funding. So what I'm saying is that looking at the aspect of abortion now, once these laws take into effect, is it going to stop people from having abortions? No. What it's going to cause is people to have the black market
Yeah,
illegal abortion,
yeah,
and I've
yeah.
heard of this.
You
You
see,
know,
you see it in old movies all the time.
yeah,
What's the name? You go to that woman that they do
yeah. If women
some backdoor stuff. It's
right,
not, and that's dangerous. I mean, you're gonna put a lot of women in danger
yeah,
of
that's very true.
of making their situation worse. Probably there's probably gonna be some deaths as a result of this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
because
saying? To be real with you.
this has been going on for years. Women having, and this is okay. Let's be very clear. An abortion is an expense.
Yeah.
Now somebody would say,
It's not. It's gonna die.
It's gonna die?
That one is. Yes.
Oh,
She's
okay.
gonna lie. So finish that.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Excuse us.
Okay.
Yeah. And then go on your phone.
But
There
what
you
I'm
go.
saying is that, back in my day growing up,
Sure.
I've heard of women doing drastic things to lose a baby. So we know that
Punch her
condoms
in the
are
stomach,
the
kick her down the
cheapest.
steps.
Yeah. Condoms are the cheapest.
Or
Well,
the
actually,
pull-out.
not even condoms. What do you say
Abstinence.
this? Abstinence, right?
Abstinence is the cheapest.
Abstinence is the cheapest,
hmm
and I can't
You
get you
good?
in
You
here.
good? You good?
Okay. Well,
Rock
I
out.
yeah.
You look good.
Well,
There
no,
you
it
go.
wasn't. Well, what I'm saying is that abstinence is the cheapest form of birth control. Don't have sex at all.
Mhm.
Then it would be condoms. Now you got Plan B, which is about $40 for one pill.
Yeah,
Now
45.
Plan 45.
45.
Oh damn, brother, with
45.
with tax.
45 after tax.
Okay.
46.75
Well, see,
after
okay,
tax.
so it's about $40-some. But Plan B is designed if a woman has unprotected sex within 72 hours,
hmm
you take this pill, and if you are, your uterus is about to drop an egg,
Make sure y'all do know as well. You need to be a certain body weight as well.
yeah.
So
Oh, that is true.
if
Yo.
otherwise you need to. That's real. That's real rap.
My friend. Oh
Mhm.
my God, my
Yep.
friend told me that,
Yep.
and I thought she was lying, but she's telling the truth, y'all, because it's a certain weight limit. Like I said, I had sex with a guy, condom busted, and he already.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, when you guys are mid stride, y'all don't pull out for nothing. You're like,
hey,
fuck
woo!
that. Fuck that.
That's
And yo, he came and
that's
he
something
gave me
else.
$20, and I went to $20.
Well, I mean, that's technically.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
he was
still,
trying to go.
$20.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
And he didn't tell me, you know what I mean? Like, he was mid stride. It's like, okay. But what I'm saying is that my homegirl, I went to work, she told me, like, because I weigh a certain weight, she was like, you need to get 2 pills. I said, for what? $40 a pop.
Right.
And I use condoms. That's what I tell people. But the reason I'm saying this is that this is not going to stop people from having illegal abortions. There have been cases of, what's going on? Okay, bam.
Gotcha.
Yes, there have been cases of women, like I said, getting their bellies kicked or punched purposely to lose a baby. We also heard of leaving babies at hospital steps, neighbor steps, throwing in a trash can. And as a matter of fact, speaking of that, Tupac wrote a song in 1991, and I just thought about it. Brenda's Got a Baby. That was based on a true story. Tupac said he was filming Juice. He saw the New York Post about a family that died in a fire. And what happened?
By the way, shout out to Harlem, New York City. That's where my
Oh,
mother,
okay.
yeah, Juice was actually shot in my mother's high school. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, A. Philip Randolph
classic
High
movie.
School. Yeah,
Classic movie.
Before.
But Tupac was saying that he read this article, and what happened is how they had a fire in their apartment is that they couldn't afford the heat, so they had the gas stove on to warm up the house. The place got set on fire. So this little girl lost her parents, her whole entire family. She went to go live with her aunt, okay, and her first and second cousin. So she went to go live with them, and she was having sex with her second cousin. He got her pregnant. She had the baby. She threw the baby away in the garbage. So what happened is 2 maintenance workers, they were about to put the trash into the compactor. They heard the screams of a baby crying. So they see this baby, take the baby to the hospital, and you know when a woman has a baby, you know there is an umbilical cord, there's
Yep.
something else, so that's
That-
how they're able to find
the
this out.
placenta.
Right, the placenta. So what I'm saying is that this has been going on for ages. Now, why would make a woman go so drastic? And another form of another way of having an abortion that some people would do, I knew girls that would drink bleach or some type of chemical to kill the fetus
what I'm
because
saying.
they couldn't afford an abortion.
That's that backdoor way, and then
Right.
that and end up having greater health risk than for both you and the child.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's not
you're
going to
killing more
stop.
than just that baby.
Right.
For real.
It's not going to stop. So there's really no solution. Again, if we're going to talk about,
I remember being back in high school. They used to say to drink vinegar. You know what I'm saying? That would be something that would kill it.
really,
Yeah.
vinegar.
Yeah, like folks had, everybody got wild.
Well, I
theories.
heard about the punching in the stomach,
Oh, yeah,
girls.
of course.
Yeah, I would hear about that. You know, girls doing that on purpose. And here's another thing. Sometimes guys, like let's say if
Mhm.
I don't want the baby. Well, I'm keeping the baby. What you gonna do about it?
Bow.
Go get her jumped.
Bow.
Make sure
Yep.
she loses that baby. I've
Yep.
heard of that too.
Yeah, that's real.
So you know what I mean. So what I'm saying is that this is not going to stop with an abortion ban.
Honestly,
If for
it might get
anything,
ugly.
it might, yeah. And
Mhm.
here's something I wonder: if Alabama has these laws about a woman can't get an abortion, can a woman go to another state and have an abortion?
As of right now,
You know
I
what
was
I
I
mean?
was actually thinking the same
You know,
thing because
yeah.
I was like, if I was that daughter, like the mother of that child, that 11-year-old,
Yeah.
we all right, bet we going east. You know
But
what I'm saying?
would
We going
that
right
be
over here to
illegal?
PA. I don't
You know
know.
what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
As of
Going
right,
to another
as
state,
of
like
right
I
now,
don't know if
is it
there's
based
a
on is
a
it based
pregnancy
on your
registry, like
right,
whoa, you're in
oh no,
Alabama,
you're
you know
you
what
live
I mean?
here, so you can't like
that's what I'm trying to figure out is if
I don't know.
maybe we're thinking too far ahead, but I thought about that.
Right.
Are we gonna get to a point like China? They have a 2-child limit, right?
Child limit. Yep.
And I know that they were killing. Well, they used to.
If it was a girl,
it was a girl,
yeah.
they wanted heirs, or they wanted boys. So
it wasn't even just that. There was just a whole. It was like a complete difference as far as like between male and female children being born. So
also it was a lot of women, more women being born, which is
so they was
stupid
trying
to
to
me
regulate
because
that.
you need a woman to carry the seed. Like that's why I think it's dumb.
Still need seeds
yeah,
to
you
be
still
shot
need, right,
too.
right. So I understand what they're saying, but are we going to get to that point? Like this ban is not going to stop. Like for instance, they have bans on guns. How do illegal weapons get into the United States? They have bans on drugs. But drugs, they still find a way into the United States.
The government.
So this is not going to stop women having abortions.
I'm
for
sure
anything.
Before we get canceled.
Yeah, for anything, it's going to continue. It's just going to be in a different way. But this is not going to stop. And I have to ask you, D, like, are you for it or against it? Like, I'm just curious.
It's hard to say, but I mean,
Right.
when it really boils down to it, I'm not for government control.
Okay.
So so I guess with that I have to stay on the pro-choice side, just because.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not with, just like I said, over that situation to where brother do need to go ahead and get that vasectomy.
Yeah.
But having the government be the ones that tell me to do it, I'm
Right,
not with
so
it.
you're not. So
I'm
they made a mandatory law that if a man has. See, I think this
10
is what.
plus
I
kids.
mean, you gotta think about it. And I'm not saying children are a burden, but when and this is just my opinion, but I see this a lot. I look at third world countries, and I see people struggling. They may not have clean water, food. They may not even have a place to lay their head, but they have children.
Yep.
And I look at this like you're barely making it. Now you're bringing this child into the world, and now this child is suffering and may end up dying. And that happens here.
Yeah.
You ever look at a corner of someone begging for money?
Yeah.
They might have a little child
Yep.
right there. And I'm
Yep.
thinking, you're in a bad, spot as an adult. Why should that child suffer because of you?
I mean, a lot of times in those third world countries, they don't have access to the medical,
Right.
abortions.
That's
You know
well,
what
not
I'm
even
saying?
that, just medical care period.
Medical care
because,
period. Nope.
but
They're probably in
I
condoms,
just-
and
it-
sex ain't stopping.
Right,
You
that's
know
what I'm
what I'm
saying. That's
Rape
the,
ain't
right.
stopping,
That's the
you know
whole
what I mean?
thing. Right, is that what you're saying is true. For a man and woman to have sex, it costs nothing. As long
Right.
as your heart, I have a functional,
Right.
ready vagina, we
Right.
can have sex, and bam,
Bam.
there's no cost in that. But what happens after that? That's the effect. Is what's going to happen to that child? What's going to happen to that mother? Because this is something I saw on Facebook. You as a man, I can get pregnant, right?
Right.
And I have to carry that baby if I choose to carry it to term. my body is consumed with at least one child because I can have
Right.
twins, whatever.
Right.
But you as a man, you can go impregnate. While the time I'm pregnant, thousands of women or hundreds of women you wanted to. It doesn't stop for you,
Nope.
but it stops for that woman as far as her body.
Hmm.
You see, so that's
So is that what you're saying as far as that's why, you know, and like I said,
No,
I mean,
I'm just saying,
I
like, just the
understand,
way
no,
that,
no, I'm
you
talking
know?
about that, you know, as far as the man not having a choice in it. And really, I mean, granted, it does boil down to your body, but I'm just saying that, you know, it really is no protection for men, you know, that possibly don't want an abortion.
Yeah.
And if a woman chooses to, it's SOL for real, for real. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So shoot, that man can go and die the next day. Now he hasn't left no heir. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
No, yeah, you're right. Because
you
we
know
saw,
now
I
his
mean,
mother.
yeah.
You know now his mother's
Yeah.
pissed
Because
because.
we saw this, and I just thought about it. XXX Extension.
Mhm.
Old girl was pregnant when he died, and she had a baby. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, things are not, you know, things like
ain't
that.
always black and white for
Yeah, I
real.
remember little Kim. Well, I'm bringing this up. Little Kim said she was pregnant by Biggie. She had an abortion, and she said she regretted having that abortion because we know Biggie died sometime later. But
Mhm.
yeah, so what I'm saying is, you know, not trying to get us off track, but what I'm saying is, when it comes to this abortion ban, there
dope.
really is no solution. I just have an issue with government. If
Government control.
government control, and I understand what someone would say, the ones that are pro-life, oh, just wear a condom, or it's not always the same, because you got to think about it. Not everyone has the same advantages that you have. There's people out here who don't have the education, don't have the finances, don't have the support.
There's people
that
out here
you
that
have.
got raped.
Right. So for you to tell someone, hey, sorry that happened to you, but here's your option. You got raped, give the baby up for an adoption. You got raped, have the baby full term and take care of the child. You can't tell someone that, especially a child. You have no fucking right to tell somebody what to do with their body. If God doesn't if God doesn't say that to us, you have no say so. And what pisses me off more is that these are men who have never had a period, never had any remote pregnancy, and for that woman, Governor Kay Ivey, to sign that bill.
It's wild, right?
That's, you know what I mean? That's crazy.
I mean, 25 white men.
Right, but one woman
but
signed
one woman
the bill.
had to sign the bill.
So that's my thing, you know. And for you guys out there who are saying, "Oh, it's a sin," let me tell you something. If you guys read the Bible, there's more than one sin. So you can't sit here and criticize or judge somebody for murder, but you lie, you steal, you fornicate. It doesn't work like that with God. Sin is on the same playing field. So you're going to sit there and say about the Bible, you need to talk about the whole Bible.
Use the whole thing.
You can't, because God's not having that. It's
Law,
either black or
statutes,
white.
and commandments,
Right.
baby.
There's no gray area. So that's what my issue is with what people are saying. The bottom line is this: whether you agree with it or not, no one has a right besides God, because He's the Alpha Omega. He created us to tell you what to do with your body. That's my whole stance in this, whether you're for it or against it, because I am about choice, because God gives me the freedom of will. No one's going to tell me what to do. Hey, take off that wig. Not doing it. Because you know why? It's my prerogative, like Bobby Brown said.
Hey.
Yes, my prerogative. Yes.
Hey.
So I just wanted to say
Do
that.
what I want to do.
Yeah, so that's what this is all about. Now, of course, the conversation doesn't stop here.
Doesn't.
We hope that we got you guys listening. You know, last week's show was we tried something,
Yeah,
you know.
something different, yo.
Yeah. But I'm very passionate about this, and I really do want to get people's opinion about that. Whether you are for or against abortion, just understand that it's still your right as an American. Because in this country, we have the freedom of speech, right?
14.
Well,
sort of.
technically, we have constitutional rights.
Folks down nowadays.
This is one of those rights.
14th Amendment, right to privacy.
So we're going to see, we're going to see what's going to happen with this, with the overturn of Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all pay attention to the news. Make sure y'all continue to watch these laws, because it's going to be developing over these next few months. Probably into next year as well. So
yeah, it is.
So make sure you guys, stay tuned, continue the conversation.
Yes.
And
yeah. Yeah, and because this is bigger than Nino Brown. This is bigger than us. Yeah. This is things that's going on in our world. And me and Dee, we're going to touch on these subjects, and I hope you guys rock with us. But any final thoughts, Dee?
I mean, final thoughts. Like I said, I'm with you as far as government control. I'm not with it. I think there should be some type of I guess amendment, or some type of way where some fathers that do want to have these children can have an opinion at all on the whole situation, because there's a lot of brothers out there that's losing out because of this. And when I say brothers, I mean black, white, Mexican, and yellow, Asian. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, you know, there's some people that actually want to be fathers. So, but I'm not with government control. Wear your swim gear if you're gonna go swimming.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not ready to have a child, put your swim gear on, or just,
That's right.
or just, you know, or don't have sex to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Like, abstain.
Yeah, and you know, and I do want to leave off with this because I saw this on Facebook.
Mhm.
Well, it was a meme. So if they're going to say that at 6 weeks you detect a heartbeat, that a woman can't have an abortion, this woman said, well, should child support start at 6 weeks? I know you saw that, so I'm gonna leave that. Right, I'm gonna leave that with y'all. Should child support begin at 6 to 8 weeks?
Hell no.
So that's what they're saying. So, you know, like I said, we thank you guys for tuning in, leaving your comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram Live,
listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, we appreciate y'all.
And I want to give, you know, our pages a shout out. Well, Niggas with Opinions YouTube. I'll upload this later.
Yep, Niggas with Opinions on IG, and again, that's NEGUS with Opinions. Again, my name is Deontay. I go by D Rich. You can find me on DRICH_1214.
And yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
my Facebook, Lamont Rich as well. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and then I have an Instagram, Next Love Her. And then DM for it on Facebook, and then my YouTube channel by my name. But you know, this is a different type of show. So like I said, the conversation's not gonna start here. But thank you for rocking out with us tonight.
Again, thank you so much for everybody that was here. Peace and blessings. Y'all have a beautiful week.
Till next week, guys.
Peace.
Peace.